Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Viewers, comments and questions. Dan here.
Nick here. Bonsoir.
Oh.
Welcome everyone. I just need to go and get my computer. Daniel will keep you entertained with interesting stories.
That is what I do.
Life on the high seas.
High C. There you go.
That's good. That's
Like
quick.
that?
That's good.
Thank you very much. Yeah, hope you're all awesome. Hope you had a great weekend. The weather in the UK has been glorious. Hope everyone that got to go and see Joey last week with the Brothers Landreth had the best time. I was very sad because I had a bunch of stuff on that I just didn't get to see in this time around. I'm devastated. I was genuinely really, really upset. But anyway, we got to hang out for a little bit and that was nice.
How many millilitres of tears did you cry?
7.
How many blues songs did you write about it?
Oh, I write a prog opera about it. That's what I do.
Oh, right.
That's how I unleash. That's how I roll, baby.
There's no sadness in prog, is there? Isn't prog perennially
It is all sad.
optimistic?
No. No. Yeah, no.
Why would you escape the real world to go into an imaginary one that's worse?
Because there are no consequences in the worst one.
Right.
There we go.
Actually, that's what the Matrix is about, isn't it? That general question.
Yeah. I went to see that film in Australia when it first came out, having no idea what it was about.
Right.
And it was the best experience in a theatre I've ever had.
It's a good movie, isn't it?
It's a great film.
Have you any idea if anyone can see us or hear us?
I can find out.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone. BV, thank you so much for being in the chat and managing all of that. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on this fine Monday or possibly Tuesday, if you're somewhere in the southern hemisphere in the region of Australia. Is it Tuesday morning? Oh, here's Rosie on the table. Hello, Rosie.
Bit of housekeeping.
Bit of housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Hey, pretty girl.
Hello, Rosie.
Hey, pretty girl. Hey, gorgeous. You okay? Yeah. I know. Whoa, right in the
You
mouth.
got a kiss.
Right in the mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She licks
No.
her anus with that tongue. Just so you know. This is how we build herd immunity. By engaging orally with
If I don't die, I'll never be sick again.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me just have a big sip of water.
It's fine. It's fine. It's probably safer than a lot of food we have to eat now. Goodness me.
I've seen what she eats.
If you want a middle-age moan.
Okay,
I'm
housekeeping.
First of all, I still have no idea if anyone can hear us or see us, so we do
okay.
really need to figure
Sorry,
that out.
all right, give me 2 seconds and I'll be able to tell you.
And
Yes.
I'm going to turn the super chats off because we have lots. Thank you, BV, for letting us know.
Yes, on air and all is good.
Well, thank you. And
Yeah.
who has said that, Dan?
We have Richard Pribanow is on, Glenn
Hello,
Michael
Richard.
Thompson, Todd Roy, Kay Cole is on, Zuta Lures.
Zootalo.
What a good girl Rosie is. Scott Curry says TMI Mick.
What does
That
mean?
was too much information.
Oh, yeah.
But I must say that's exactly the information that I needed at the time.
I think all information is good information, isn't it?
Yes.
Sort of.
Kristen Abbott says, I can see you, Mr. Anderson. There you go. Loud and clear. So very good. Thanks, everyone. Moon is on. Bovington Bertie is on. David Tompkins, G. Barge, Sharbono, Jeremy Summers. How lovely. Kristen Abbott says turd immunity. That is very good.
Chris, you are this, yeah.
That's very, very good.
Up there for bingo, down there for dancing.
That's right.
In it. In it. In it.
Very good.
Moon says, what planet is Uranus? There we go. Oh, honestly, every time on Mastermind where they ask about planets, I yell out Uranus.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
who wouldn't?
Of course.
What would be wrong with you if you didn't do that? Would be my primary question.
Mm-hmm. CPK 3 on Thief says the first thing I hear is Dan gargling. Well, there you go. Great. A 40 Watt podcast says good morning from Mississippi, the Delta.
Hello to Mississippi.
Beautiful.
A challenge for lots of young children in the spelling department. And many adults.
Oh, yeah. Mississippi.
Yeah.
Here's
3
to all
J's, 2 K's,
That's right.
and 1 Z.
There's a shout out to all the dyslexics that live in Mississippi. I'm right there with you.
Low hell. No? That's a cheap gag. Cheap gag.
Very
Not,
good.
not even funny. Broken Oars podcast is on. Simon V is on. 52 Telefried is on. Owen Rosser is on. Erica Turl is on. Or Eric A. Turl. James Blest is on. Todd, did we say hello to Todd Roy? How are you, Todd? And lots of lovely friends. David Tompkins, Biv, Big Riffs Riggs.
Nice. We had some big riffs today, actually.
We did.
It was great. I think you can see the shenanigans set up behind us.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Dan and I run out of riffs quite quickly, so it does get repetitive, but the information's good.
The information's great. Information's great. Right, housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Yeah.
Patrons, April's giveaway is underway.
What does housekeeping require, Daniel?
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, your turn to do some housekeeping music.
Yeah.
Who's going to go? Okay, I respect that.
Yeah, because we know it won't be in tune.
April's giveaway is underway. All active patrons should have received the link last week. Check your patron direct messages if you haven't already for the link to enter. Nick is giving us his link to enter right now. There you go. The 10 Golden Tonekins updates. Today we picked another Tonekin winner from all of last week's orders, placed up until midnight last night. The random order number that came out today belongs to someone in Hampshire in the UK. So Golden Tonekin number 9 is on its way to you. That means there's only one Golden Tonekin left, Tonekin number 10. All store orders placed between today and midnight on the 30th of April, this Thursday, are in with a chance. And also, and this is important, there will be no VCQ next Monday. And why is that, Michael?
I'm going on vacation.
Mick is going on vacation.
Or holiday, if you prefer.
Yes. A soiree away from your place of play.
That's how I feel about that. I'm only communicating tonight by the medium of chord.
I like it.
Right?
By the medium of intervals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yes.
I'm definitely feeling a bit major sixth today.
Nick and Catherine will be going away, so have a lovely time. I'll stay here, and we'll release the fort. There'll be no holding. Oh, that's nice.
That was the worst housekeeping music we've ever had.
I like
It
it.
didn't leave me any pauses to accentuate.
No, that's right.
So it's all his fault.
It is my fault.
Yeah.
It is my fault. Add it to the list. All right, Rosie. You all right, gorgeous girl? Cool. Okay. Sheridan's TV says, didn't realise Mick still had that Gretsch. We have all the guitars. We don't get rid of them normally.
Well, I sold a load 2 years ago, but generally not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gordon Rankin says, sorry I'm late, leg ends. Hope everyone's doing well. We're all good, mate.
Gordon, how are you? I want to thank you, Gordon, for the introduction to Matt at Roswell mics. We've got 2 Roswell cab mics incoming. Been using them, enjoying them very much. Roswell cab mic, for those of you who want to check it out. I've got 2 coming in matching TPS orange, and I've been liking them a lot.
Nice.
Very much, in fact. So,
Great.
awesome. And housekeeping music by Primus.
Very good.
Says,
Lords of Form. Very good.
He's never far from my brain.
Kaiser Joe says, having overdrive fun now thanks to TPS. Looked at the Keeley Noble Scream and Blues Disorder, struggled, checked TPS overdrive vids. Strymon Sunset arrived today. Bloody marvellous. Thanks, DNM. You're welcome, mate. We're here to help.
We are. Super chats then. We do prioritise the super chats for anyone who's new. So thank you to everyone who's super chatted. I think we've got 26 or 27 in, so we shall get along with that right now. Andrew R is first in. Andrew, thanks so much for your super chat. He says, happy Monday DNM. In honour of Mick's slightly excessive rig from last week's video. How very
That's
dare
great.
you.
I love that video. And I love seeing the snippets of you doing it live.
Yeah, it's
and
good.
it's great. It's really cool. May I ask, what captured the clip of you playing? What captured that? Was that
A Zoom H4.
right? Okay.
And we put it on the lighting gantry, literally hung from the, I don't know, 10 feet in front of the
It was great.
stage. It did capture it well.
It did.
And then ran it through about 15 grand's worth of studio back end.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
So,
No, it's very cool. But it was nice to hear because you got the sense of what was happening
It was,
live.
it was a pretty decent mix, actually.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, they're great, though. It's just like a little Zoom handy recorder with a XY mic on it. Really, really good. Thank you, Steve, for doing that. I was like, I don't want to record this because I never want to hear it. And he's like, come on, let's record it. Andrew R. Sorry, Andrew, we will get to you. Happy Monday, DNM. In honour of Mick's slightly excessive rig from last week's video, what's the most impractical thing you've ever tried at a gig in the name of tone?
I don't know if it was impractical.
I think mine was the rig on Friday. I don't think I've ever had a rig as dumb stroke awesome as that before.
Right. But it was, yeah, I guess.
It's not excessive compared to the people, we get to talk to every now and again.
Yeah. The first bunch of TPS live stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, I was taking my old tape delay, and it was when it worked, it was amazing. But when it didn't work, it was a pain in the neck. But I still wouldn't call that excessive. But this is me talking. Yeah. I really want to do the 3 amp thing live. That would be excessive, but it'd be really fun. Yeah.
Greg is on. Greg, the sax player in the band in Above and Beyond. Greg, who we just go back a long, long way, says, love the show. Bet I'm the only sax player who knows nothing about guitars or pedals. Bless you, Greg. Hope you're well, buddy. Cool T-shaped object, says Evan Ward.
Yes. This is a beautiful T-shaped object from our friend and fellow
Carl Longbottom,
BJJ practitioner Carl Longbottom, who gave us a couple of guitars to check out many years ago, and I love the neck and I love the body, and it's a semi-hollow. What do you call it?
A semi-hollow.
A semi-hollow.
A semi-hollow.
Semi-hollow. And it's sort of solid in the middle and chambered, and I really liked it. But I thought, what I really want is a guitar that's got a Strat trem on it and a couple of wide range humbuckers. And so
played it in the show today.
played the show today. So these are Monty's wide range humbuckers that sound beautiful, and it's an old Callahan, the Strat trem we had lying around, and
with the correct Unife magnets apparently as well.
yeah, and it just sounds, it's superb. Had it set up this week. I think the issue that I had is because I had my 11 to 52s on it for the longest time. The weekend I put some 10 to 48s on it, and it loves the little bit slinkier strings. It still feels that there's quite a lot of tension on it, but I've really been enjoying it.
Nice.
The maple thing is very different. A very different response.
There we are.
Yeah, so that's what that is. Carl Longbottom.
Were you mentioning your tape echoes at the
Yes, I
CBS
mentioned my
gig?
tape
That's what we were
echoes.
talking about. Good.
Yep.
Tell us you love Rosie more than the Two Rocks mix, says Johnny T. Of course I do. Of course I do. More than any of the gear at all. Yeah. It doesn't even register. Doesn't even register. Morley Robertson. Oh, hang on. BV's trying to tell me important information. Mick, a few patrons are saying they got the email, but there was no link. Okay, I'll chase Catherine up on that. We might have to email you again. Sorry, patrons. Catherine and I are currently swanning gracefully above the water while paddling quite quickly to try and get away on holiday and actually get away on holiday.
Nice.
Rather than normally I end up taking some sort of project with me, shipping out a computer and sitting in a room for a week, which I am really trying not to do.
Don't do that.
So
and don't dig a pool when you're there.
there's no digging the pool. We might have to paint one. I think that's coming up soon. I'm going to pay a man to do it next time. Morley Robertson. Hey Morley, he says, D&M Love Friday show. What is the worst guitar you've ever owned and why? How long did it take you to get rid of, or do you still have it? Oh, there's a barbed question, Morley.
But it's an interesting question. I think there's, oh man, the worst guitar. I don't know, because I'd love, okay, what have you got?
Sorry, I don't know why I'm doing that. Literally no idea.
You're thinking one day I'm just going to turn around.
No. I do it with a machete, not a flipping gun, mate.
Make a real statement.
Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't, because the studio gets too messy.
Too much mess.
But I know it's macabre. I know it's not very pleasant. Sometimes you have to laugh.
Especially now, you've got to laugh.
You do. Is the only response. We got to. I think the worst guitars we've probably ever owned will probably be cheap, poorly made guitars. So we need to discount them. Like we had a. And here's an interesting point. So, growing up as a young boy child, we had a really, really cheap laminate, 1-inch action acoustic lying around the house. So, is that the worst guitar we've ever owned or the best? Because
it's the thing that got you started.
Got me going.
Yeah, completely.
So
yeah, it's an interesting question. It's like how, what makes it the worst? Like, yeah, that's a tricky one. Let me think on that because
I think what we're looking for is a controversial answer, isn't it? So I'm going to give you one, and mine was my PRS Custom 22, which was the best playing, worst sounding guitar I've ever owned. And it wasn't bad sounding because it was bad sounding. It was bad sounding because I didn't like it. And what I particularly disliked were the pickups.
Okay.
And I wish I'd had the brain to change them because it was probably the best playing guitar I've ever had.
Okay, that's a great shout. I'll tell you what mine was. It was a 60s Gibson Special SG. And I bought it sight unseen from someone that had something to do with Blondie. It might have been the tech or the crew or something, but it was definitely part of the conversation. And I'd played one of these guitars before. I wanted a. This is after I got my Junior, and then I wanted the Junior, but with something, it had something else in the neck. And I saw this, and it was a really good price, and I bought it sight unseen. And it turned up, and it looked gorgeous, but it was an absolute pig. Everything original in it, and then I took it to Johnny Kincaid, and he took the cover off, and there was a crack that went from here under the pickup guard all the way through here.
Mummy.
So he got it together and glued it all up and put everything back together, and I thought it was awful. However, I took it down to, this must be going back 15 years or something. And I was in a vintage rare guitars in London, and I just took it in and said, look, this is the guitar. Guy picks it up, plugs it in. Sounds amazing. And I'm like, I'm done. And because when you invest so much into it, it's heartbreaking, right? And anyway, put it on the wall, and a couple months later, someone picked it up and grabbed it and loved it, and that was that. But that was, for me, that was the worst. I just couldn't get anything out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've probably all, haven't we? All of us have had guitars that aren't up to much and are hard work to play. But I'll come back to the original point saying they're the ones that you have to work hard at. Maybe. Don't know. Morley. No, we just had Morley. Martin. Did we get rid of it? Yes, we did, Morley. Martin Tracy. Martin. Hello, Martin. He says, evening, gents. What speaker would you suggest for my Laney LC30 pairing with my Vox AC15? The AC15 has a greenback. What about a Vintage 30 or a G12H75 greenback? Is there anything else I should consider? Thanks for all you do.
The Laney LC30 and the LC15. Actually, no, the LC. I lie. The LC10. The single 10-inch combo. Magic sounding amp. That Laney stuff is great. I think the H30 is a really good shout in that, but also the Vintage 30 could be really good. The top end in the Vintage 30 I think is really nice.
The V30s are such interesting speakers because I always think I don't like them.
Yeah,
because they're quite present. They've got I say present. They've got this kick in the upper mid range, which makes them very audible, for want of a better word, and they are really super good bass response. It's just hard to get them to overdrive in the way that your greenback and your AC15 will overdrive and break up. And they're also really, really efficient. So they're loud. They are loud speakers compared to a 25 watt greenback. So you might have a little bit of a mismatch there in terms of just how the LC30 is putting it across. Because from memory, the LC30 is quite
it's a formidable thing.
Yeah, and kind of bright, and it's not like a soft sounding amp.
No.
So I don't know about if you were going for like maximum volume, if you wanted to be maximum audibility and really good volume, then I think a V30 would be a really good shout. I do wonder, actually, so the G12H75 Creamback is such a different sounding speaker to the 65 medium magnet one. Now, if we say that the greenback is woody, to use a term, so we get these really sort of nice mids that we would associate with a greenback, and when you push it, they do overdrive. And actually, Dan and I really both like the greenback in our AC15.
Sounds great.
And that's coming from a lover of Celestian Blue speakers.
Yep, it does sound great.
The G12H Creamback is got a lot more headroom, a lot more power handling, but I don't think sounds as aggressive as the Vintage 30. Now, the G12M65 Creamback sits in between the two. It's kind of got some of the woodiness of a greenback, but a bit more power handling. And I just wonder if that might be, for example, in the Victory cabs, I did a load and load of listening for Victory when they were developing their speaker cabs. And two of the speakers that we kept coming back to were the H and the M magnet Creambacks. Now, I always preferred the H magnets because I'm playing 100 watt amp turned up, and they start to have some character when you turn them up. But lower on mid-gain sounds, the M65 Creamback every single day of the week. Just more character and had more about it at low to medium volume. So all of which is to say, yes, the speaker is getting on for the single most important thing in your whole rig.
Agreed.
But it's so frustrating because how on earth do you get to listen to them side by side? And even if you do get to listen to them side by side, it doesn't really mean very much unless you listen to them on the end of your amp. A place to start, for what it's worth. What don't you like about the speaker that's in it currently?
Yeah, good
and go
shout.
from there. But
I think you need to plug into some other speakers just so you've got a reference. You know, it's hard to say I don't like the top end and the breakup character because, you know, plug into another speaker, it might sound exactly the same. It might all be coming from the preamp. You know, you need to be able to work out what the speaker's doing compared to what the amp is doing.
Yeah.
So, you know, grab, if you if you've got another like 2x12, 1x12 cabinet that you can just A, B and get some points, things you do like and don't like, and then you've got a place to start.
Yeah. Yep. Good luck, Martin. It's you just got to start, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnny T, R.I.P. Dave Mason of Traffic, Hendrix, and solo career fame. Yes, R.I.P. Dave Mason. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Plexico, hi D&M, what a show on Friday. Thanks, Mick. Please tell us about the Hughes and Kettner Replex. Okay.
Oh, so cool.
I bought it for our £500 pedalboard challenge rig when Anno Log left me and
Bless
Dan
her.
an extra £250 each. And there's just something in me that doesn't want to go and buy the thing that everyone else buys.
Yep.
And it's pure bloody mindedness. I just don't want what everyone else has got. I don't want it. A lot of people have FOMO. I have phobia. Fear of being in. And so as a result...
Fear of being included.
Yeah. Mate, you know the Groucho Marx comment? I don't want to be a part of any club that would have me as a member.
Oh, that's really funny. That's really funny. So here you go. Check this out. So this is the head, back of the head cab that would sit on Mick's rig. And in it, he's got a bunch of really cool things. There's the Replex and there's the CXM. And then, of course, underneath that, the absolutely glorious Rotosphere.
Yeah, and so the Tube Replex is an interesting delay pedal because it has absolutely no useful functionality in terms of tap tempo, mix control. You can't even turn it on and off remotely. You can't have the reverb and the delay on at the same time. Reverb actually sounds really good despite what you might read online. But it's a digital delay, right? But it has this tube dry path with which you can saturate and push. And the idea when Thomas Blug and I think it was Bert Schneider maybe at HK, the idea was to try and get as close to the sound of the old Echoplex as possible, but in a really usable format. And of course, so many people have tried to do that down the years. But by preserving that tube dry path and getting some, interesting analog drive-through going that way and doing the delay digitally, it's got a character and a sound.
Sounds killer.
Does it sound better than the Bell Epoch Deluxe? Probably no. Does it have as much functionality as the Bell Epoch Deluxe? Probably not. So it's on there because it's ridiculous, and I bought it for that challenge.
And it matches the Rotosphere.
Yeah, and there's just something about it. It does sound good. Don't get me wrong.
It does sound great.
It does sound good. And perhaps what it does have over the Bell Epoch Deluxe is why is that cursor flashing back there?
Because it's saying hello.
The fact that you can affect the sort of relative nature of the preamp sound. In the Bell Epoch Deluxe, it's either on or off, and you either like it or you don't. In this, you've got drive and output level on the pre.
Right.
So you can.
That's nice.
Crunch it up. You can use it to actually overdrive your amp. It will go way above unity.
It's like the SIB.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's daft.
It's fabulous.
But the older I get, the dafter I get.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Lava Dome UK says, hi DNM, late again. In Bangalore this week, almost done with my Indian adventure. Oh, that's great, mate.
Amazeballs.
How lovely.
Been to India?
No.
No, nor me.
Get us in here.
Would be a groovy thing to do one day.
Yeah.
So I'm experimenting with this copper bangle.
Right.
With magnets in it.
What do you think?
I keep sticking to things. No. Yeah, I think it. I can't tell. My pain in my hands is definitely better, but I don't know if that's because the weather's warmer.
Right.
So, anyway. Don't get any pain in my left hand. Get it in the right hand. Weird, isn't it? Maybe because this one gets more.
Yeah, I get pain in my left hand.
Oh no, I get it in the right hand.
Yeah, I get pain in my left. Yeah, okay.
Justin Carball, hi Justin, how are you? He says, happy birthday to me.
Oh, happy birthday, mate.
Indeed. Been on the same journey as Mick of late. A classic reverb signature and a Studio Sig TPS wet dry. Very nice. I don't love my Harler as the middle drive pedal. Not enough mids. Maybe a Page TS with the 3-band EQ. What are your thoughts or other ideas? And thanks for all you do.
Yeah, the Harlot is definitely not a mid-push thing. It's got
Not
a
as
mid-control in
mid-pushed.
it, but not as mid-pushed. Yeah, that's a really cool thing. Or maybe you can look at the Alexander. Mids in that are glorious.
Yeah, I sometimes on experience days when we've got the Alexander going, I sort of say that this is my Tube Screamer Plus pedal.
Yeah.
Because on this little mode switch here,
Mick showing the mode switch. Zooming in on the Alexander. Switching backwards and forwards.
that was awesome.
You like that?
It was like an AI voice.
Did you know someone's ripped off my voice on some AI thing?
Yeah, it's your chatbot.
No. There's some website that's demonstrating, I don't know, some legal thing, and it's my voice on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's eerie. Like, yeah, it's
Is it you or Paul Hogan? Come on.
oh, that's not a bloody legal document.
That's
This is a legal document.
not a
Oh,
legal
truth, you flaming galah.
That's Alf Ramsey, isn't it? Was his name Alf Ramsey? Alf.
Yeah.
Has a mid-push setting. So you've got two modes, and then the mode over on the right does put in those mids.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do is get something like a Tumnus, a Wampler Tumnus, or a Tube Screamer, and just use it in conjunction. So you've then got both options, because sometimes not having those mids is a really nice thing, especially if you're playing sort of general rock music, GRM.
It's very good. Oh, we used the Tumnus in the show today.
It's really killer.
Perfect. For
And
that.
then when you're playing your GRM and she, he, or they are singing, you can just get out of the way by getting rid of those mids, and by just putting them back in with something like a Tumnus or a Tube Screamer or whatever, gives you that mid push that you might want to go for. The final thing I would say about that, though, this classic reverb anyway, and I'm assuming the other one, have the mids thing, the mid switch, which is that's the 2-rock thing. Well, it's the 2-rock thing that I love. But, so yeah, before you spend loads of money, spend a bit less money and try that.
Nice.
Yeah. Or anyway, no, we won't do that. Thank you, Justin, for your generosity, and good luck with what you're looking for. Page TS with the 3-band EQ. Yes.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Really, really brilliant. I mean, the Page is still one of the best ever.
Well, hasn't he? Because the versions of the Page that Dan and I have, we've got the standard. Simon, hi if you're in the chat. We've got the standard tube overdrive, which I was using on the show on Friday, which is a relatively full frequency tube boost. There's then the Page DS,
Right.
which you would use after a preamp like the Maiden to
Yes,
get that
bit of-
definite
yep.
D style sound.
Like the Cascani gain stage into that type thing.
But I want to say the modern versions of the Page do it all,
Yeah.
possibly. And
Yeah.
is there a TS and a DS?
I-
So the answer is yes.
Yep.
Do that.
Yeah, it'll do it.
You know, why give a simple answer when we could give a really lengthy, complex one?
There you go. Welcome to that pedal show.
Willkommen auf das Pedal Show. Die Pedal Show. Alex. How? James Blessed. How are you, buddy? He says, hi, DNM. New guitar day for me. 1961 Fender Custom Shop Telly in Candy Apple Red.
Oh, hello.
Get in. I'm in love. Thanks from the bottom of my heart for all you do for the community. You guys rock.
Ah, you're welcome, mate.
Bless you, mate. And thanks to everyone out there joining us, being part of this, being part of whatever spans from this and on the edge of this. It's a wonderful world to be in.
It's very cool.
Enjoy that guitar, mate. What a big deal getting a guitar like that. That's the
Yeah.
kind of guitar you just put there and look at for a while, isn't it? A long time.
Yeah, it is. But then pick it up and play the bloody thing. You know, don't... The custom shop stuff and everything, it's amazing. You know, we have custom shop guitars that we love, but it's important that you play them. Get them out and play them. You know, don't... Get the first ding out of the way. Get them played. Get the GRM.
Yeah.
Did I get that wrong?
What are you playing tonight? GRM. Daniel Hafner. Oh, that's a t-shirt. There's a t-shirt in there. Daniel Hafner. Hello, Daniel. He says, I want a wet-dry setup. Of course you do. The dry amp is a Tone King Imperial. It's a very nice start.
Mm-hmm.
What's the perfect wet amp? ChatGPT says a high headroom amp like Fender 65 Twin or a high watt. That's because they sweep our content and give it back to you as their content. And all the other people on the internet. Giant plagiarist bastard machine that it is.
Scrape that.
Yeah.
So it is correct in a sense in that if you have you can use any two amplifiers. The most important thing with the wet amplifier is there is some headroom so that it can take your wet effects and reproduce them, cleanly. It depends on what volume levels you're playing at as well. I mean, I would have thought that your dry amp would be a perfect wet amp as well. So you could be a renegade and just get another one of those. Or you could get something, if you love that sound, and you don't want to mess with that, and you want a different wet amp, something like, this is crazy, but not crazy. A Two Rock is the best wet amplifier I've ever heard. It just is. It just is. It has this thing where it's loud and beautiful and clean, but it's never sterile.
No, the lack of sterility is something that's becoming increasingly apparent to me as the years go on.
Yeah.
But they're insane money. So, and then the next question is, how loud do you play?
Yeah. Because
what Dan just said is right. If you're playing at lower volumes, I actually think the Tone King could be a fantastic wet amp, and you could get something smaller and crunchier for the dry. But if you can get a bit of volume going, he's right. Pretty much anything. And one thing we always say is, what other amp do you want?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I've got this, but I kind of wouldn't mind one of these as well. Dan amazes people every last Friday of every month in this very room on experience days when he plugs in his Princeton, albeit with an EV, and says, have a bit of that. And the people are like, I don't believe that's a 12-watt Princeton.
And a single 10-inch speaker, 12-watt Princeton, and it is...
louder than pigs.
It's glorious. It's so glorious.
Yeah, so don't discount stuff like Princetons, albeit possibly with an uprated speaker. I actually think a Princeton would be a great amp next to...
Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. Next to the Tone King.
Yeah.
Be amazing.
For low to medium volume, if you're playing with a live drummer and you do need some headroom, then I would definitely suggest at the very least a Hot Rod Deluxe. Twins probably, 65 Twin would be fantastic, but it's a lot to carry around. Pro
Reverb's brilliant.
Again, a lot to carry around if it's a 212. It's kind of anything you fancy, really. Anything you fancy. So you got to choose one. What would it be?
To pair with that?
Yeah.
If I had to go and buy a new amp, okay, I have two suggestions. The Princeton for me, and I'd run the Princeton dry and have the Tone King wet. I would also consider the Cali Tweed
from Mesa. Oh, that's a good shout.
Because I think where the Cali Tweed sits, because it does have headroom, but I think it's such a beautiful dry amp, and I think the Tone King as a wet amp is killer. But if the Tone King was my dry amp, I'd be looking at something that's got a bit of. I mean, the
bit of
Two Rock
mids.
is the best. Yeah, I'll tell you what, a Plexi.
That's what I was thinking.
You're going to think of
50 watt
Plexi would
Plexi.
be amazing.
Yeah.
Because those things, man.
Or a sensible volume Studio Vintage.
Yeah, they have headroom, and they're beautiful sounding amps.
So that's probably no help whatsoever.
Yeah,
Whatever you fancy, as long as it's similar-ish power.
yeah.
Ish.
Or the new Victory Clean.
Yeah. Or the MKX.
The MKX.
Or, oh, man. Oh.
There's a lot.
Defeated by Robots is saying Tone King Royalist. I wholeheartedly support that. That when Greg Koch brought that in, and all right, it was him playing it, but he did let us have a blast on it as well. I think I played one at Anderton's, and I'm like, that is a really great amp.
Yeah.
So if you're, intellectually invested in the Tone King brand, a Royalist Mark III, I think it's on now, is a really, really super brilliant amp.
Yep.
Anyway,
Brilliant.
Okay. An out of phase AC30 for me, says Steve at Electricity Music.
Awesome.
Bless you, mate. How are you getting on with it? Is it all right? Steve had has a 60 friend. My friend who plays in the band that was featured on Friday has a 65 AC30 that was very sick, and it had a catastrophic fail
Right.
with output transformer, whole back end completely taken out.
Is that the amp he was using in the video on?
Yeah.
Because it sounded great.
Well,
You
it had
could
been fixed.
Yeah, but you could hear it was lovely.
Johnny Brelliot did the first fix, and there was still one problem left after that. So blessed Jesse.
Jesse Hoff.
Jesse Hoff, bless your heart, Jesse Hoff.
Yeah.
Was like, oh yeah, that's what it is. Fixed it in about 10 minutes, and
Who's so great.
it really did sound good. I hope you're pleased with it, Steve. It really did sound good. Yeah.
You going to do some more gigs? What do you think?
There's one in the book for Above and Beyond, and then
Where's that?
Me and it's at a festival in the summer, and then me and the bass player and the drummer are going to do a little trio thing.
Oh, fantastic.
So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Frankie Holt said that he played with Jason Isbell the other night, and he tried to hand me his burst. I didn't have enough anxiety meds to have me hold on to it.
Oh, wow.
You played with Jason. That is crazy, Frankie.
That's amazing.
Happy days. Happy days.
Jim
bud.
Bond2 says, hi from Tokyo, 1:30 a.m.
Oh, we had such a good time in Tokyo.
I really want to go back.
Jeremiah McCann says, you guys should refer to T-shirts on your website as T-shaped objects.
T-shirt-shaped objects.
Jeremiah,
That's very good.
not for the first time there is wisdom coming forth
Yeah.
from you. Right, we should hurry up, really.
Sorry, dude.
No, it's completely
My fault.
our fault. Jason Hattrick, how are you, Jason? He says, you have a wish. You can replace any guitar player in any band in history. You will be as successful, and they will do something else. Do you use it? No.
No.
No, not in a million years. But if in some parallel universe they go on to be equally successful and do something equally amazing, what band would it be? Or what artist would it be?
I had a dream last night that I played guitar for Dolly Parton. It was so weird. It was brilliant. I would have loved to have played guitar with Jeff Buckley. That would have been every box ticked. Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it?
Fourth guitar player in Radiohead.
Yeah. I think I'll be Vince Gill with a couple of caveats.
Do the Eagles gig? That would be the caveat. Dude, have you seen the clips of him doing it? He is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, no explanation required.
No,
he is amazing.
He is amazing.
He is amazing.
Gee, he's tall.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah, got the Telecaster. It's like, is that a full size telly?
Yeah.
But it's oh man, yeah.
Guitar player in a band. Mike McCready would have been pretty good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
Trouble is, all the guys I like the most had pretty horrific personal issues.
I would have loved to have played in Steely Dan. That would have been amazing.
You probably did, didn't you? Given the revolving door of guitar players. I think everyone did. Who didn't play in Steely Dan? Thanks, Jason. Jason Sears, another Jason. Jason Sears. Some delays just sound and feel more musical to me.
That's right.
Had some trouble articulating this to a friend recently. Is it that analog pad that sits under like a reverb? Is it the darker tone of the repeats?
Honestly, it's a mixture of everything. The delay does not sit in isolation. It's what's going into it, what it is plugged into. It is the preamp that it's using. I mean, you take an EP3 and then just take the wet signal of the EP3 and plug that into a completely clean, dry signal. And then it still sounds amazing, but the character is absolutely different. So the preamp sound, a lot of these delays, the preamp sound of the Memory Man is a massive part of why the Memory Man sounds the way it does. It's a lot of stuff. So one of my favorite current delays is the 12-bit delay from Otto, the Otto delay by the Otto machine. Anyway, the green box looking thing. BIM, the BIM Otto. And I couldn't even tell you why that thing sounds amazing, but it just does. The combination of the 12-bit processing, the amazing preamp it's got in it, it's so clean, but it's got character, all those little things. Someone was up doing late nights getting this right and going backwards and forwards and just listening. Yeah, it's a combination of all. It's like trying to say, why does this overdrive sound so good? Is it the diodes? Is it the op amp? Is it a special transistor? It's every little element has to work together. It's like a soup.
I would also say that for a sort of elevator pitch, it is because of the imperfections. So the most perfect delay is going to be the one that you struggle the hardest with.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Because it just gets in the way, right? So you're saying about the tone roll off on the repeats, maybe a little bit of modulation, bit of wow and flutter because of tape, all that stuff, I think works on two levels. One, it sits in an analog sphere, unless it's too much, right? You don't want like seasick modulation or too much distortion or anything like that. So a small amount of it. Secondly, it is the sound of all the music you've ever heard, and therefore it feels familiar and tuneful. Unriddle me this then.
Okay.
I have here's a theory that may or may not hold water. Perfect music that's perfectly in tune is really hard work.
Hard work.
Anything sharp is really hard work. Mm-hmm. But most things that are just a little bit flat are somewhat more tolerable. Mm-hmm. And I think there's something in that. Like the imperfections. Someone was telling me they'd done their dissertation on tuning in an orchestra. Was it Simon, maybe?
Right.
Someone was telling me, and I'm sorry if I've forgotten who it is. And as a whole, the orchestra makes this clearly beautiful noise. They check the relative tuning of two instruments on the opposite sides of the stage from each other, and they are a mile out.
Really?
Well, they are discordantly, uncomfortably out.
Right.
Yet, when the whole thing comes together,
It's
maybe
magic.
it's a bit like chorusing, right? Because what's chorus? Slightly out of tune with your regular sound. So I think it's something to do with that.
Chris Turner says, if you want imperfections, you'll love my playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Mick's exactly right. You can't you don't then go looking for the imperfections to say this is the way you do it, but it's the way that all these elements add up, and it just gives you magic.
Yeah. Todd Roy says, does this mean that Mixed Blues Implosion is making a return? Of sorts. It'll be more of a collective, the three of us, and there'll be a bit of blues, but not be more songs.
Yeah, great.
Not that there aren't songs in blues, but you know what I mean. Be more GRM.
Stanislav Migra says, none of David Gilmour's legendary bends were in perfect pitch. Most of them just above. That is interesting.
Oh, I'd have to listen to that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I have to...
Because I would be very unhappy about that.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm not a massive Floyd or Gilmour fan. So
yeah.
I love David Gilmour. I'm just not a huge fan.
The bending thing is really interesting. I think this is why when I listen to Chris Buck play, Chris Buck bends a lot, but everything that he does is so in tune. And it's one of those things you can tell someone that can sort of pre-bend a pitch, but when you go, it's like it's that thing. It's
yeah.
It sort of separates the wheat from the chaff, as it were.
Scott Curry says, except singing, flat singing is painful. I totally agree, but it is more tolerable than sharp singing for me.
Yeah,
there's a couple of artists who I shan't mention who often sing sharp, and it's like,
my nan, bless her, used to sing sharp and loud.
Oh, loving that.
That was hard.
Loving that.
She was amazing. She was enthusiastic singer in church. You'd hear her for the whole congregation, and honestly, it's like half a semitone sharp. She would give it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
She would give it everything.
Did she have a crate of ale before she went in there?
Like, she's like squeezing lemons, and everyone's eyes around her. She was fabulous, my nan.
I'd be like, yeah. Simon V, RDJ, Simon V.
Hey, buddy.
Dear Sultans of Schwang.
Sultans of Schwang, very good.
Guitar George, he knows all the chords.
Yep.
Definitely not strictly rhythm.
Make it cry.
With Pedal Porn's recent video on their bluesprint pedal being counterfeited, have you come across fake merch or pedals, and have you taken action to stop it?
So, a little bit of experience in this area, and all I will say is it's very difficult, especially if you're dealing with a company that A, is outside your general jurisdiction, B, if you don't have any money and they have money,
forget it.
It's all over. And if you're dealing with a company that's in the Far East, they just don't have the same...
Or a certain former Soviet republic.
Yeah, they just don't... Not that they don't care, but they will look for opportunities where they think they can make a buck. And, yeah, that's just... It's tricky. I think the way that I've had to approach it ever since then is just be the first with it, get it out there, and so that eventually when it does get copied, hopefully people will recognise it. Well, it's a copy of something, but it is very, very tricky, especially with like overdrive pedals and gain circuits, as complex as they can be, just not very complex things, and they are very easy to work out what they are and to clone them. It's annoying as hell.
My wife used to work in all kinds of content and IP protection. Catherine used to do all that stuff for some really big companies. I don't know, she didn't develop it, but she was there when they developed one particular company developed a certain piece of software that saved them millions a year in digital IP.
Right.
Actual physical product is a different thing, and I bizarrely enough was talking to a guy at the Landreth's gig at Union Chapel on Saturday who has worked in physical counterfeit
Yep.
stuff, done raids on houses with body cams and all
Right.
kinds of stuff to get counterfeit stuff. The sad fact is crime bloody pays. And if, like Dan said, if you've got finite pockets, trying to fight it legally is really tough.
Yeah, it is.
It's really tough. I'm amazed and glad how successful Bill Finnegan has been down the years,
Yeah.
because he's been very tenacious with it.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't stop Stereotone, but, or maybe they came to an agreement. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, there's some small irony in pedal porn being counterfeited, because obviously a lot of what pedal porn does is remakes of stuff that already exists anyway. And I'm not saying that there's any justification for it, or not. I'm not trying to. I'm emphatically not trying to say serves you right. I'm clearly not trying to say that, but
Yeah.
yeah. Never try. Homer Simpson had it right. Never try.
It's all right, son. If at first you don't succeed, just put it in the cupboard next to your karate outfit and your hockey uniform. And,
Yeah. And then, like we said last week, how many times have you been to Jeff's Bazaar and bought something that isn't of something that's a like something else, or bought it because it's cheap? And so consumers are equally culpable for that sort of activity, I would say.
yeah, it's... Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Support the OGs if you can, please. Cheap knockoffs might destroy the pedal industry, says Stanislav Migra. Yeah, but then, come on, man. And I agree with the sentiment completely, but there would be no pedal industry if they hadn't started doing remakes of circuits that already exist. There'd be no Keeley JHS Wampler if they hadn't done screamers and drivers and
Fuzz faces.
and fuzz faces and all of that, you know.
Yeah.
So, and yes, they've all gone beyond and they've all done different things.
That's the thing for me. You need to be able to show, I think in as far as copyright law is concerned, it's called an inventive step. You take a fridge and put a clock in it. There's your inventive step,
Yeah.
So
Clock fridge.
a clock fridge. So if you can do that, then it's possible that you have something that you might be able to protect. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it is what it is. Personal decision at the end of the day, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Simon. Broken Oars Podcast. He says, hola, no homework.
Nice.
Watching with the girls. Hello, girls. He says, yay, found my old Boss ME5 in my parents' attic. First decent pedal. Sounds surprisingly good. Anyone else have a first love of a bit of kit they later refound? I have searched more than once for an ME5.
Have you?
Yeah.
The little analog multi-effect thing?
It was the sort of the first one that I can ever remember.
Yeah.
And I think all the drives and compression and stuff was
It's all analog. Yeah.
And then presumably some sort of digital delay and reverb, but
Yeah. I think it's the same in the GP8. I think the drives in the GP8 were analog as well.
yeah.
The compression had to be, because it was the noisiest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. That's cool.
First love bit of kit that you later refound, Dan?
Boy. I haven't. Yeah, I don't know. I tell you what it is. It's my old compressor, my old Dynacomp.
Yeah.
The original one that I had in 91, in the steel case. The case was destroyed. Someone put it in a new case, and I used that forever. And then hadn't used it, since I got all the fancy new compressors. But a couple of years ago, I found it in a drawer. I went, I wonder what this sounds like. Plugged it in. It's like, oh my god, it's the best compressor ever.
Mine, rather, in the sort of thing that only would ever get said on that pedal show, was my Mark III Boogie.
I love that. That's great.
I got one first when I was 16, and bless him, the drummer in the band that was in the band that in the show on Friday, Simon Milo, he his dad Dave bought it from, it's not exactly the same amp, but it's the same type of amp. He bought it from Robbie McIntosh, and Dave has since died, unfortunately. But so I borrowed it off Simon, and that's the one you see in the show here. And there's been big old heartbeats going every time I plug that thing in. This is a monster, isn't it?
Yeah. Daniel Mincher says, since the experience day, I've been sorely tempted with an old memory man. That thing blew me away. Yeah. Once you hear a really good sounding old memory man, it's like, that's the level. There it is. It's so cool.
Bloody analog stuff, honestly. It's so annoying.
It is annoying. It is annoying. But it's great.
Tien Williams says, hi DNM.
Hi mate.
When are you going to start a Rate Viewers Rig section of the show? P.S. I'm going to see Bonamassa next week and I'm slightly aroused about it.
We'll let him know.
We can sort of understand.
Yeah.
Right, here's the problem with doing viewers rigs. The rig comes in, Dan and I say, throw the power supply away and buy a new one. And then everyone just feels sad.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're at it, you probably need a true bypass loop switcher because the bypass on that sucks. And everyone's like, oh, you're so boring. Or we could say, hey, it's great. And it probably is great.
Yeah.
And it would do. But we are so boring about power supplies, keeping everything separate, like any little bit of noise being eliminated. And all of that stuff is basic ground level stuff. So maybe there's a way of doing it going, run VT, get your power supply sorted.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the pedals. Maybe there's a way of doing it like that.
Yeah.
And also, that utterly mental rig that you saw in the show on Friday, right? That's one thing.
Nick walks gingerly off into the next room, rummaging through his drawers. Scott Curry says, Gen X 14 and Quartermasters are great additions to any pedal board. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah. Look, getting this stuff right, it is just important. And if you can get with those core elements right, you get that right, and then it opens up everything. Yeah, here you go.
I'm just trying to find the final pedal that I have since taken off to put back on my main board. I don't know if we've got a duplicate anywhere.
The
Tube Dreamer. Oh, this will do. This was my board for playing with the Brothers Landreth on Wednesday night.
Amazing.
No switcher.
No.
No cobblers. Just what was required to get out and play 3 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't think the tone was bad.
It was great.
But, this was a Tube Dreamer, not a Lucy Dreamer. I've fallen in love with the Jam Tube Dreamer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really good. And this thing, delays.
Yeah.
Delay llama, man.
Yep.
So anyway, the point being, what's right for the context, what's fit for purpose.
Yeah, completely.
Fuzz and a Marshall and a delay.
Yeah.
Tick.
Yeah. I mean, we had a stereo.
I don't like this patch cable very much.
We had a stereo 5 cable method thing going on today. And the whole time I'm playing it, I'm like, yep, so I'm going to have that. I can already see what's going to end up being in the rig. And I do have to get to a point where I've got to stop myself going, hang on, we're trying to simplify and just get some great tones. And but then I think, oh, hang on. Whenever I end up simplifying, I always end up compromising on something, and then I always end up disappointed. So it is all about context. Because if you Mick's exactly right. If Mick had turned up with his massive pedal board and 3 amps to play 3 songs, that would be
utterly inappropriate.
Utterly inappropriate.
I mean, it was inappropriate enough to take my amp, but I got to the gig. Joey says, "Did you bring your amp?" I'm like, "No, I thought that might be." over egging it. He's like, "Where's your amp?"
Yeah.
So bless her, Catherine had to drive over with it. But
oh really?
yeah, I know. Which is unusual for me because normally I'd have my amp, a spare amp, and another one.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, Tian, we'll give it some thought because maybe there's a way to do it that
Is helpful.
is helpful and relevant.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Just see what people are saying. What did I use for a power supply? Gig rig generator and isolator underneath. Although, as I found out, my Free-the-Tone... that's what I took. It wasn't the jam. It was the Free-the-Tone. Sorry. I put the Tube Dreamer on my main big board.
Right.
But I took this for my main overdrive.
Did you?
Sorry, I'm misremembering.
Okay.
I took this and it sounded fantastic. And this requires quite a lot of milliamperages.
Oh, does it?
So I think the isolator was like...
Yeah, okay, all right.
And I had that moment as we moved set my stuff up like kind of out of the way, and Dave says, put it in the middle. So I moved my pedal board, plugged the thing back in, no lights. I was like, oh shit. So I start plugging in, unplugging, plugging. Lights just come on. I'm like... Because I think that's asking for too much current.
Okay. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Anyway, there we go.
So
If we can make a simple thing extremely complicated, we will manage to do that. Oh, God. Nico Sonev is on. Nico,
Hi, buddy.
how are you, bud? Lovely to hear from you. Yeah.
I've been seeing some of Nico stuff online. It's a very, very strong hat game. But I also caught Nico last year at the Birmingham Guitar Show doing some stuff for what's that trem system?
Vega Trem?
The Vega Trem.
I don't know.
Such a great guitar player.
Where's Vega?
Yeah, and also of course stuff that he did on some Stephen Wilson stuff a couple of albums ago when Nico and Stephen came in. It was, beautiful. So lovely to see you, mate.
Nice to hear from you, Nico. Mocha Joe says, hi DNM, I recently bought myself a Duesenberg Star Player TV.
Ah, come on, I had one of those. They're brilliant.
Very cool. He says, I love it. No question, but I just wanted to share some joy. Please pick a question from the chat.
Okay, I've got one from the chat.
Enjoy that new guitar, mate.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Here we go. This is from Jim Bond 2. He says, hi from Tokyo at 1:30 a.m. What are the pros and cons of big wattage amps and small amps for gig situations? I think I understand some, but not completely the logic behind it. It's basically this, Jim. The larger wattage amplifiers generally will have more headroom and give you the ability to have more level and more dynamics. The issue that you're going to run into is if you need to have those amps loud enough to have a bit of character and a little bit of feel behind it, but you get into a very small venue where that's just inappropriate. So that's when the smaller wattage amplifiers come into their own, because they can still sound great, still deliver the goods, but without being overpowering. But then there's the other side of the coin. It's like, if depending on how you run the amplifiers, if you like, say, Phil X, that just has like diamond Marshalls and has everything run off the back of his guitar, and you're not after the headroom, sometimes, mid-wattage amplifier in large venues can be great. Sometimes it's even better than having, a couple of 100-watt amps.
Big
cranked.
time. And it depends on you. It utterly depends on your playing style and what it is you like out of the amp. So I would always go for a bigger amp, quieter, because I just like the way big amps sound and feel, and I like having the amp louder so I can lean off playing. But I know lots of people who just don't like that headroom thing. They much prefer the sound of a small amp cranked. So the actual resultant volume may be exactly the same.
Yeah.
But what you do with it and the way you put across the headroom, the dynamics, the pick attack, all that important stuff, that determines. So it's not really about wattage, it's about your attack to the guitar, about how the guitar and the pedals work with the amp and the resultant feel that you want. So yeah, it's just not about volume, is it really?
No.
I mean, it might be about volume when you go for the really loud bit.
Yeah. This is interesting. Sheridan's TV says, as a follow-on, any chance of a show exploring power and headroom with drums in context? And I think that's a really great idea. Get, 10, 25, 50, and 100 watt amps. And just do a little bit with Doug.
Yeah, I mean, my gig 2 Saturdays ago with Above and Beyond, 100 watt 2 rock and a 50 watt 2 rock. All right, not
Cranked.
nowhere near cranked, but
Appropriate.
Simon Milo is a loud drummer. He's a really loud drummer and a horn section. But brothers on the boat in Bristol on Wednesday night, it's quite decent stage volume.
Yeah.
Joey's louder than I've heard him in a long time.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, and it was pretty loud, but such a fantastic tone that it doesn't sound loud. But yes, I think that's a really great idea. God knows how we... All right, sometimes we do experience days, as you know, and what tends to happen in the afternoon is I'm usually stood about here, and an experience day attendee is stood about here, pedal boards, many amps. And in some of the afternoon sessions we swap round, so people have a play and they explore something, and then that comes to a natural end, and something maybe you might want to explore something else or an extension of that, and we pass the guitars around. Same guitar, same amp, same pedals. One guy can be 3 times the volume of the next guy.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yep.
Simply with the pick attack.
Yep.
So, yes, we could do it, but it really is all down to the player. There's one guy in particular who is louder than anyone I've ever heard. Even you. And
Right.
I'm like, how do you get
That much volume.
like
out of it.
another 11 dB
Right.
out of that rig than I can get? How does that happen?
Wow.
So, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Justin Baylog. How are you, Justin?
Hey, mate.
Really good to hear from you. And you have some interesting news, and I've got just the thing that you need. He says, new amp day, 2 Rock Joey Sig.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Oh my goodness. It's incredible. How do you both you and Joey set it? Any tips and tricks? Love you guys. Well, here you go then. This came out of a road case yesterday morning from the Brothers Landreth tour. And as far as I'm aware, Mummy has not been adjusted.
Look at that.
I sincerely hope you can see all of that, and if you can't see all of that, tell me and I will tell you where it is. It is loud, this amp. You turn it on, you plug it in, you're like, yeah, it just sounds really nice, and you're like, holy shit, that's loud. Yeah, literally came out of a road case yesterday morning. Joey came back here to drop stuff off, and that's it. That's it. Fresh from the stage at wherever it was on Saturday night. Oh, that's annoying me. It's not in the middle. Congrats, Justin. That is a very serious amplifier, and as you know, rare.
Yeah. 2 different tremolos. Both in like, of course it is.
Well, when he turns the harmonic tremolo, it's like, oh.
Yeah. But when he was here and we did that, And he had the harmonic tremor, the thing, and it was all great. Then he turns it on, the harmonic tremor in the room, and I even got a text from Steve Rotherham going, "Oh yeah, that's a different thing." Yeah, so cool. Such a great thing. That is one thing. We're going to do a show on phases soon. I am going to include the harmonious monk in the phaser show, because I honestly think what a lot of people think they want in a phaser is actually a harmonic trem.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying
what
they can't see the Joey's amp settings because apparently it was too shiny. I'm going to read them out, all right? Pens and paper at the ready. Gain, 2 o'clock. Treble, midday. Middle, midday. Bass, midday. Speed, 1 o'clock. Intensity, 2 o'clock. Speed, 11 o'clock. Intensity, full up. Reverb, 10 o'clock.
Nice.
Master, 9 o'clock. Presence, 9 o'clock. Bright off, mid off. Deep, down. That's it.
Nice. Are there any switches?
Just
That is that?
Just done the
Oh,
switches.
that's the switches. Okay.
There you go. There we are. Good. Right, let's carry along. Nice one, Justin. Good luck. Steve Mass! Hello, Steve! He says, I found out that changing to heavier strings can be tricky with an Evertune bridge. Hit the adjustment limit at first, but figured it out. With arthritis and diminished skills, it's still a game changer. Huh. They are really intriguing, the Evertune bridges.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, maybe Google it, but it's a bridge that exists under tension, and well, they all exist under tension, they all work under tension, but it's balanced in a way that you can set it so that even if you do small string bends, it will compensate to a point.
Yeah, yeah. It keeps you very in tune.
Super, super in tune, and it's a really interesting thing. Kind of exactly as you've discovered, Steve, getting it set to the point that really works for you and so that it feels right and everything. But I first played one on a mid-60s SG. Like, you look at it going,
really?
How dare you do that to that guitar? But boy, did that guitar play in tune.
See, this is
and sound great.
That's the main issue that I've got with my SG at the moment. When it's in tune, it's amazing, but boy, it can be a nightmare to get it there. Yeah, and I think it was when we, like, oh man, years ago, when I did the rig for Devon Townsend, and he was showing us his guitars with the Evertune bridge on, and especially with his all of his stage acrobatics and all the theatrics that go with it.
Yeah,
it's just one less thing he has to worry about. The guitar being out of tune.
Yeah,
he really likes it.
Yeah. Maybe we should try and get one and shed some more light on it, Steve. But I'm glad you figured it out anyway.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Yep. I'd be interested to know, if you have arthritis, how the heavier strings are helping you. I'm interested in that, because forgive my ignorance, but it would seem logical that if you were struggling, you would use lighter strings. So in what way are the heavier strings helping? That's super interesting. Would be interesting to hear about that. Steve Harvey, how are you, Steve?
Hi, mate.
Really lovely to hear from you, mate. He says, Steve is an old friend, used to work for Martin many years ago.
Oh, cool.
And used to run guitar shows and work on guitar magazines and all kinds of things. Very nice to hear from you, Steve. He says, greetings from sunny Taunton. Dan, in Mixed Fab video from Friday, you said that playing at a louder volume than usual was much more physical. Could you say a little more on that, please?
Yeah. It can be exhausting because, tell you what it is. Okay, at the moment I'm not plugged in, and playing is relatively effortless.
Oh, that was nice.
Like that?
That was nice. I can
Now, what happens when
smell the dust
the
from here.
when the feedback coming from the amplifier is loud, and especially if you hit dynamic starts punching you, there's a weight to it, and it becomes more physical. Yeah, it's a thing, and also, if you go to a loud gig and it's really great, but the sound pressure alone is physically it has an effect on your body. Also, the way the guitar reacts to the sound pressure level, you've then got something else that you need to be aware of, because the guitar has a different physical response to it. You have to be so much more in the moment and careful with the responsibility that you've got when you play loud. You can't just be bashing 10 shades of crap out of it. You've got to be, well, I find it helps to be aware at least of what's going on.
Somewhat sympathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, I don't know if there's any doctors or physiotherapists or any physicians in the chat, but again, I'll offer a hypothesis. In a situation of increased physical, what's the word I'm looking for?
Interaction, this sound pressure level.
Excitement.
Yes. Okay.
That's not the word I'm looking for, but anyway, when you have more physical impact or, oh God,
Engagement.
Going to do my head in. I suspect there are some physiological things that happen, like what about stress hormones? What about cortisol? What about tension, muscle tension? Other things that, naturally start to fire in your body when you're in a excitement, stress, arousal situation.
Yeah.
And therefore, that is actually physical.
Yeah, sure.
So, same if a medium-sized bear comes running at you, or even a small bear, your body and your various hormones, neuroreceptors, all that stuff start firing in a different way. Your muscles tense, you defecate probably, and then it's not dissimilar in front of a 100-watt Marshall.
Yeah.
It's frightening.
Yeah.
It can be frightening.
It's
visceral.
It is visceral. It is a visceral, and it's a physical experience. It's like, yeah. There's more to control because of the way I play when I'm not plugged in, I'm just playing acoustically. I can't play like that at 100 watts. You just can't, because the guitar, I can get away with murder with playing quietly. You can't do that when the amp is cranked, because you hear every little thing. And which is why my favourite guitar players are guys who play loud, and that's how they cut their teeth. And they learn how to sound good and how to control that stuff at, loud, dynamic levels. Go and watch Phil X play live, and you'll know in 2 minutes, in 2 seconds, oh, that's how he got really good.
BV saying adrenaline. Yeah, of course it's adrenaline as well. Yeah, there you go. Hopefully that says it, Steve. But you've done your fair share of gigs, mate. You must feel that as well. I think volume has if we've had a couple of days heavy filming and an experienced day in a week, and I've got a band rehearsal,
It's exhausting.
Feel physically exhausting.
Yep.
And I don't think it's necessarily just to do with the fact you've been doing a lot. I think something to do with being pounded with 105 dB.
Yeah.
God knows how many days in a row.
And having to be not just experiencing it, but having to be present and think about stuff. You're having to engage your brain during the din of the sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're focused and going, okay, well, we can hear the top end of the mid sit in a different place with this, and so we are, focused and trying to produce stuff in our brain while being hammered with loud amps. That's really great.
Yeah, Johnny T, stimulation. Thank you, Johnny T. That is exactly the word I was looking for. Physical stimulus.
There you go.
Stimulation. Thank you, Johnny.
Here we go. Toby Ellington. Yes, Mick. ITU doc here. Definite adrenaline and then cortisol release for the excitement of playing loud. A big spike followed by tiredness and a flow state.
Interesting. Thank you, Toby. And thank you for your work as well.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. It's great.
Yeah. There we are. Good. Good. G Barge. Hey G.
Hey, G.
Hope you're doing well, Greg. He says, gents, new mic day today. I got a warm audio Fentone ribbon. I really want to hear one. What did you use on Mixed Rig episode and how was the journey to your present favourite? Sound on headphones has been great. Love to all from Northern California. And to you, G.
This is all Mick.
So the Fentone is similar to the Royer 121.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And I would love to hear one. I'd love to hear your experience of it. We do love ribbon mics. When I say we love ribbon mics because they're relatively easy to work with. They roll off, or at least they're not harsh in the high end, certainly with mid-drive and some of those peaks that can be. So we've had some real annoying issues on the show just recently. For the longest time, we've been using those Sontronics Delta 2 ribbons, and they're super easy to work with. They handle high SPL, they have good frequency response, and they've been robust. However, I think something in that Mark III Mesa and the EV
It's too much.
just tickled them a bit too hard.
Okay.
And there is some clipping that's being introduced somewhere, and it's not, when you plug a mic into a mic pre, you set the gain, blah, blah, blah. It's not as simple as that because all the meters are reading way low. So we don't know if we're clipping the interface. We don't know if it's a cable. We don't know whatever, but it is annoying. So as a result of that, I've been trying some different mics. Today's mic selection has been, and the other problem is the 1073 pre's, the new 1073 pre's basically add 20 dB.
Yeah.
And unless you pad it, and most of them don't have a pad switch, you can trim it at the end, but it's not the same. Today's mics are the Roswell cab mic, as previously mentioned, and a Austrian Audio OD5. And they both sound pretty good. The Roswell cab mic I am loving because it does share some things. It's not a ribbon mic, but it does share some stuff with a ribbon in that you put it right on the center of the cone. You put it about 6 inches away. Good bass response. Is got really nice mids, like not too forward in the mids, and no super harsh trebles.
Right.
So I've been really enjoying it, listening to it quite quickly. And then when we move the production stuff into the new room, I can actually either have Dan in here playing or somebody else, or set up some loops and just go in there and listen critically, move mics around and really do all that stuff that we can't do when all the stuff's in the same room. So how do we end up at it? Just a mixture of that sounds good, it's reliable, it's repeatable, it's predictable. Let's use that. And then the room mics, there's above this lens, approximately here.
Just there. Right there.
Are a pair of AKG C14 414 XL2s maybe, arranged in a mid-side, and they do. You hear a lot of them in the final mix, and they're just great. I mean,
That's perfect.
C414s, just great. Overheads, drums, guitar cabs.
See, I've just got my head around SM57s and Royers. That's,
You
everything
got
else
a
is-
Royer?
No, the concept.
Oh, I see.
Well,
Well, that's a lovely thing.
yeah. Well, we had one here for a while, didn't we? That we used.
Wonder if we ever get any more money, a pair of 121s would be fantastic. Or indeed the Fentones. I'd love to know what you think of them, G, and I'd love to stick them on a cab and have a listen. Dennis Schmidtke. Hello, Dennis. He says, "Hey D&M, on your advice, I purchased the 65 Deluxe Reverb reissue. Do I place the stock Jensen with a Celestian greenback for better breakup and response?"
I don't know.
Our
would you do?
deluxe reverb has been hammered. From the day it was new, it has been absolutely hammered. It gets hammered every experience day, and it has just shaken into a place where it just sounds really good.
Yep.
And that's the Stock Jensen.
Stock Jensen.
So,
They chose them for a reason. They do work really well, and you know, unless you're going to do, I mean, like, hey, the Princeton for me is a really good example. The EV is a very special speaker, and it doesn't break up. The one thing with the speaker in the Deluxe Reverb, the Jensen, is that it breaks up in tandem with the amp when the amp is cranked, and it just sounds magic. But the EV doesn't do that. The EV just has like 200 watts of just clean headroom, so it just gets louder and louder. But you then start to hear the breakup of the amplifier. It depends what you're after. Like that, our stock Deluxe Reverb, I'd gig that anywhere. You know, it sounds fabulous.
yeah, I gigged it a couple of times. The only issue I've had in really loud bands is
Yeah.
probably the opposite of what you want, is that speaker does fart out on the bottom end a bit when you get really, really loud. But in a lower volume environment, I'm sure you already have, but have a listen to when we compared the 64 hand wired with the standard one. That speaker that they put in the 64 hand wired is way low sensitivity and really, really breaks up early. So if you're playing at lower volume and you want sort of break up at home to quiet rehearsal volumes, I think that could be a good speaker. It's super vintage sounding. You know, there's nothing smooth about it, but then if that's what you like, that's what you like. Greenback, I've never tried one in a Deluxe Reverb. Maybe there's people in the chat who could offer some wisdom on that. If you go onto any forum, they'll all tell you that the stock Jensen speaker is junk and replace it with insert name of their favourite speaker here. So it's such a personal thing.
Yeah. Good luck, mate.
Yeah, good luck. Greenback. We should try it.
Yeah, should try it.
I'm interested in that.
Okay.
Something in my brain is going, you can't have British speakers with American amps, but of course you can.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
course you can.
That'll be a good shout.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I'm just reading.
No, I am too.
Yeah, okay.
Tom Kilori. Hey, Tom, how are you? He said, I fixed my stereo issue. Blackstar Department 10 tube boost at the front of the chain. Added slight grit on channel 1 of a 100 watt JCM 900. Oof. And the same with channel 2 of a Deluxe Reverb
Nice.
2. Sorry, of a Reverb Deluxe 2. We like that Department 10 tube boost, if I remember correctly.
Fabulous. Yeah, fabulous. And
Really simple.
Yeah, and for at a really good price point, sounds great. Actually, they're not using the tube as an LED. They're actually using the tube.
Yeah.
And it does sound really good.
Felt to me like a kind of more accessible
Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very nice.
Simon V. Simon
buddy.
VRDJ. Hello, buddy. He says, chaps, just a quick question. Will Dan ever get Jake and Joe onto TPS VCQ or episode? It would be great to see them play and chat. Much love to you all. That'd be interesting.
Possibly. Yeah. The issue is that the office is, quite a way away, and they're busy.
They got planes.
They got work to do. But yeah, why not? They're
visions of like a Roman boat with them rowing, you up the top in your flaming vine leaves, sipping a goblet of wine.
mush.
Chewing on the leg of some poor. Anyway,
They're on tour at the moment. Well, they're at work today and tomorrow, but then back on the road again from Wednesday. Yeah, they're doing.
Don't they use DM?
Don't use DM.
Direct messaging amps?
Oh yeah,
Then no. You gotta get
but
it.
they're doing a hybrid thing. It's it's cool. But
Yeah.
no, they're good eggs. They're good eggs.
Chicken sandwich, shit sandwich, chicken and shit sandwich. Hybrid?
Chit sandwich.
Like a hybrid sandwich? I'm joking, I'm joking. One of my favourite guitar players in the world had put the Grey Box of Sadness on his board.
Right, but I need to do specific things.
Yeah. I'm joking. I know it winds you up. Sorry. Not sorry. Big riffs and rigs. Say DNM. I'm using the brothers, Analog Man Brothers and Chase Bliss as my main drive. Amazing versatility via MIDI for live, but still confused how to set dumb drives with it, i.e. clone and a protein. Dumb drives, loud, clean, boost, high gain, low gain. What do we say about this? Main drive, okay?
Yep.
We talked about it on Friday. If you're confused about gain stacking, or you're not getting the results you want, maybe a good place to start is you've already made one decision, and your first decision is the Analog Man Brothers is your main overdrive.
Yep.
So
Start with the overdrive that you like the sound of.
Yeah.
Forget about everything else. Get the overdrive you like the sound of. And
no
then go from
stacking.
there.
If I had to live the rest of my life with this overdrive sound, do I like it?
Yep.
And the answer to that question has to be yes. Next, get a pedal. Get one pedal. Next. Put it before it and set it exactly what you just said. High output, low gain, and see what that does. And then set it high gain, low output, and see what that does. And then take that same pedal, put it on the other side of the Brothers AM and do the same thing. And if you can, record your results, or, you know, mentally record them with like, oh yeah, when I had the gain high, it just made the whole thing more squashy. Before, afterwards, blah, blah, blah. Because what you ultimately, and the Brothers is interesting because you've got presets, haven't you?
You do.
Plus you've got the built-in treble booster. So it might be that all of the gain stacking you need is already in that pedal.
Yeah.
You might not need too much else or want too much else. But if you're like me and Dan, what you'll probably end up with, or what we would end up with, is the AM in the middle and then something before it and something after. The something before it makes more gainy. The something after makes more loud.
Yeah.
That's how I've always done it.
Yep. That works great.
But you might not want more loud after. You might want more gainy again. So as long as you understand that's what's happening when you stack overdrives together, they are either getting louder or they're getting more gainy, or both.
Yeah, or a combination.
Or quieter. What you might actually want is an underdrive
Yeah.
after it. So let's say the AM is good and cranked and it is really kicking your amp, and your amp is going into really serious overdrive after it. You might actually want to tame it after that, put something that's quieter to bring you down for rhythm, maybe. So yeah, I would say do that. As always, process of elimination, keep it simple. If you line 4 pedals up, 4 gain pedals on the floor and start just switching them, you'll be confused. I would be confused in seconds.
Nice.
I keep meaning to play with the Brothers
Yeah, it's really good.
because I love the idea of it in theory.
Yeah, no, it's really good. David Tompkins says, after no gigs for a while, I've got tickets for Eric Johnson, Guthrie Govan, Aristocrats, and Ainsley This in the next 3 months. Looking forward to it. That's great, mate.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Still trying to get Eric. I'd love to sit down and have a chat with him. I have questions. I've got questions.
Dustin Thiessen says a Warehouse ET65 is great in a 65 Deluxe Reverb. I've got one of those in a cab. I like it a lot.
Yeah, right.
I do. It's Warehouse's version, or it's Warehouse's take on the G12 M65 medium magnet 65-watt speaker that Robin Ford likes.
Oh, okay, cool.
That one.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. The Rockin' Moroccan.
Very good.
That is nice.
Great.
He says, hi gents, the Rockin' Moroccan here. That's
Nice.
a nice onomatopoeic kind of, is that the right word? Has a nice cadence to it. He says, just a thanks for using the Fez of Truth. Take one from the chat. Because they actually wear fezzes in Morocco, right?
Oh, that's yes, of course.
Yeah.
That's where all of the bad guys from James Bond comes from,
Yeah.
running around with all the fezzes.
Yeah. The Rocky Moroccan. I want to see it. I want to see the set. Take one from the chat, says he. So let us do that. BV is pointing out there's no VCQ next week because it is a bank holiday, and also I will be away. I'll be on holiday. So no VCQ next week. And come on then. Question. Lots of speaker things coming in.
This is interesting. Pamapop, far out. Let me say that again. Pamapop says, hi, any thoughts about Lightspeed pedal into a Karma MTN 10? Any experience with that combo? I don't know what the Karma MTN 10 is, but I can tell you now, we've never plugged the Lightspeed into anything that didn't sound flippin' fantastic. It is such a great pedal. I guess it all depends on how you run it as well. If you're running it open or if you've got a bit of crunch in the front end. But yeah, the Lightspeed is glorious. What is it?
It's a very rare overdrive pedal that I've never heard of.
Okay.
That Pete Thorne raves about.
Oh,
it's a take on the Ibanez Distortion.
Oh, okay.
So what's that, like a MOSFET overdrive distortion?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
With a CA3260 IC chip done,
right?
Apparently.
Okay.
This is the one the Nashville guys are using, apparently.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, everything we said about gain staging. So yeah, Pete Thorne's going on about it. Yeah, I never heard one. Would be good to hear one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Pete Stroud likes it.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
We'll have a play.
Yeah.
Because there's a Moss Distortion. Wampler did one recently, didn't he? It'd be interesting to have a look at that circuit and maybe get a few in and let them fight it out.
Let's do it, because like many things in life, I am ignorant to that whole world. So yeah, but doesn't matter what doesn't matter what they are, doesn't matter what the pedals are, whether they're boosts, overdrive, fuzzes, distortions. The basic rules of gain staging are the same.
They are the same.
Yeah.
Turn them up. Really loud.
So then, says Daniel Mincher. Hey Daniel. Who's excited for Wednesday and Dawn of Prince's new pedal? Much love, TPS crew. Do you know what it is?
I have a fair idea what it is.
I know what it is. I think most people know what it is. Then we won't say, just in case they don't. Yes, very excited.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah. Wednesday, Dawn of Prince. And Chase Bliss has a very interesting release. Thursday, is it?
Yeah, oh, cool. Yeah.
Is it Thursday?
It's soon.
That's very interesting as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's logged me out, obviously. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to remember and talk.
Let's see. Yeah. No, there's a few very cool things coming up. Diamond released their new phaser as well, which I want to have a look at, which looks great. We had Robert Keeley release the 12-bit delay, the Funk Siren, which we've got in, which we'll have a look at. But yeah, lots of fun stuff coming out. It's brilliant.
Sorry, I just got logged out, and every single neuroreceptor and neuron in my brain was taken up trying to log back in
No
again.
problem. Oh, this is interesting. So Martin Carpenter says, currently experimenting with swapping speakers into 2x12 cabs. V30s, greenbacks and G12T75s. It's unbelievable how pairing different speakers in one cabinet can completely change the tone. It is.
It so is.
Yeah. Now, what is interesting, and we doing some work at the problem forward, and what we found was that the mismatch of speakers in a cab is really cool until you get some serious volume in them. And then what happens is you really hear where one speaker, if you've got, like let's say 35 watt and a 50 watt speaker in one cab, and then you turn up and the 35 watts starts giving up, you really hear it. And when the speaker starts giving up, and it does interesting things to the output transformer or the amplifier.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we found was, going back to the standard, Robin Ford, what are the speakers he likes?
G1265.
The G1265s, the standard 2 G1265s in his cab, and then all those problems went away. Yeah, so I really like it at moderate volumes, but if you play loud, it can cause issues.
Yeah, we know people who do it and choose to mic one speaker and have the other one as their kind of audible. I mean, obviously you're going to hear both of them, but they prefer one mic'd over the other. So yeah, but you're totally right. It just, changes everything. The speaker, changes everything. We are through the super chat, so we'll get into the regular chat for a minute and see what's going on there. This Friday's show is going through a bunch of boosts. Often when we talk about boosts, clearly the relative gain of everything else you're using makes a huge sense. So we're talking about that little Victory amp there, the MKX, using it in its overdrive state, either medium overdrive or very heavy overdrive. And what's a boost for at that point? It's not about getting it louder for solo. We don't get into that. We've done other shows on that. It's more about, boosts.
It's boost, but
Fascinating.
it was so interesting because you think, oh, the amp's already overdriving. Surely we just want to be boosting different levels into it. Actually, the difference the character of the overdrive pedals had. So we tried to mimic a couple of overdrive pedals with just the EQ boosting into it, and it just, you'd get the shape right, but the feel and the way it would the way it would give in was just, you could get nowhere near it. It was so interesting. Very cool. Oh, very, very cool.
Matheson Sanchez. Sorry, I couldn't quite read it. Matheson Sanchez says, right then, one great amp or two decent amps on a set budget.
One great amp. Oh, no, one great amp. And one great amp, and then one a very simple transistor amp with the great amp.
One great amp and one crap amp.
There you go.
Or two. That's a really hard one, That's a really hard one. It is true that Dan and I both love the dual amp rigs for predominantly wet dry. And once you get to use it, it is very hard. Or at least you do feel a bit bereft when you go back to just one amp.
Completely.
Equally, I rather suspect if either of us was doing a Friday, Saturday night gig all the time.
Wet, dry, wet. Residency. Get it set up.
Yeah.
Fly it from the rig.
How annoyed you'd get with it after a while. I'm saying it's contextual.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the reason for simplification for me, for anything like that, is purely practical. But if you're at a residency I mean, so when I was doing all the London and walkabout gigs.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily mean a residency. I meant just going out and doing.
Oh, you mean every Saturday night you're doing your thing?
Function bands.
Yeah, sure.
Or, the kind of bands that most people are in most of the time.
Yeah, sure. So if you're doing that, if you're doing that and you can't turn up and you're only there to fill a void, then that's one thing. But if you're touring and you're doing your own music,
that's a completely different.
You know what I mean?
Thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's a totally different thing. I think 2 Pro Juniors in a little flight case. Just completely. In a single flight case that, mind you can't really lift that on your own because it's too unwieldy. 2 amps, man. Actually, no, 1 amp. That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a good show, actually.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well,
we're going to take, here we go. Here's one expensive amp. We take the same price. We get 2 amps for the same price. Which you prefer?
I'm sorry I'm yawning. I've had 2 3 a.m. nights over the last 4 days. 2 small amps versus 1 big one. That's another question.
Brilliant.
That's another question.
I like it.
They never end. We've only been doing this for like 40 years-ish.
Johnny T says, Dan, have you seen EXTC and would you recommend playing near me this week? So EXTC, that's Terry Chambers, the drummer from XTC, has put this together. I haven't seen them, but Terry Chambers playing XTC music, it's got to be good.
That is the most genius net band name as well, isn't it?
EXTC is X.
XTC.
Yeah.
That
and
is...
TC for Terry Chambers as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
That is really, really clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. PJ Serto 1074 says, "Hey guys, Mick, I'm wondering how cool you think it would be to gig with Blue again and compare and contrast with the 61." Yeah, it would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Be like going out for dinner with your ex-wife. You don't need to be reminded of it, right? Not that there's necessarily anything bad. It was a perfectly amicable split. We cut everything half down the middle. She had half. We cut the kids in half. Everything was fine, right? No, I'm being facetious. Yeah, I don't really think about it. For so many reasons. I just don't. I'm not like a what if or an only if.
Right.
Or a I wish that had happened kind of person. I don't really have much time for nostalgia.
Mm.
I don't have much time for hope.
Moon says, "Is she paying?"
I'll have caviar on lobster, please, and a pint of vodka. And I don't mean to sound like unhappy or unpleasant about it, but Blue's a great guitar. Like so many guitars are just great, and they're all. It's just where you are in your head, and moving on and moving back. And to be honest, like the gig I did a couple of weeks ago then with the old band, it probably wouldn't have made much difference if it was the 61, the Custom Shop Gold one, Blue. Mm. In the heat of the moment when you're playing, I'm not sure it makes much difference at all. Actually,
the amp does. The amp, I think, if you're playing Strats, and
let me say it another way. At no point during that performance are you going, I wonder what this guitar sounds like.
Yeah, right.
You are playing the music.
You're in the moment. Yeah.
So whatever you are in harness with, that's what you're using. Yep. And if your brain does go to, I wish I was playing this, I'm not blah, blah, blah. That's when you're distracted. Something's not quite right with my sound. All of that stuff.
And you're not thinking about the audience at that point. You're thinking about yourself, and it's the wrong thing.
Yeah, and of course that does happen. If you get a technical problem or you break a string or, I don't know, or something on the guitar's not functioning properly, pulls you right out of it. And what I think one thing experience gives you, the more you do it, is to learn how to ignore that stuff.
Yeah. And
try not get, when we all do, don't get me wrong, we all get pulled out of it. So, yeah, I don't want to be thinking about the gear when that's why I don't want to get into production. That's why I don't want to film or record our gigs, because if we do that, it's me doing it, and then my
Yeah.
head is in producer mode, not in artist mode.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a completely different headspace. So, yeah, I'm sure it would be great. And it would be interesting, wouldn't it, to pick it up again and go, hello, old friend.
Yeah.
That would be great. Like
Yeah.
McCartney's missing bass.
Oh, that was interesting. You see all
yeah.
that stuff? Yeah, great.
Slightly more significant in his case, obviously. But yeah, maybe. I'm kind of more interested in the next thing.
Yeah. G Bar says, Mick, that's the best analogy I've ever heard. Close to the bone, but brilliant.
I imagine there's quite a few people out there that went, oh, no. I don't have an ex-wife, by the way. Not one that anyone knows about, anyway. Good. Okay. I love nostalgia, but it can make you sad, says Johnny T. Yeah. Go and pick up a Eckhart Tolle book and learn about psychological time. That's what nostalgia is. Won't do you any good. Oh, I need you tonight.
Ah. That was such a good album.
What a great band they were.
They're amazing.
In Excess, for those of you who missed it. How did we get there? Did we say Excess or something?
Probably. XTC? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No Phantom Blue Pain then, says Picasso. No. PJ Excesso. No. None. Excited to see you both explore non-Fender and Gibson guitars in the coming time, says Sheridan Stevie. Yeah, we are as well.
Yeah.
I don't know quite what's happened. It seems to have arrived at us at the same time.
Yeah. So I've got this back into Fettle, and I'm really, really enjoying this guitar. The Monty's wide range humbuckers sound flippin' magical. So this is really fun. I'm gonna get the Huber. I've got some Sun Bear pickups to put in the Huber, which is gonna be and a new bridge for it. The pickups in the Huber have always been good, but never quite right. So I'm really excited to try the Sun Bear ones. I've got another guitar turning up, hopefully in the not too distant future, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, there's a few other great guitars floating around.
Marlin V.
A Marlin V.
Yeah. I don't know what it was actually called. The Strat type was called a Sidewinder, Marlin Sidewinder, but they did a V as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You mean from my guys?
From Marlin, the cheap catalogue brand.
Oh, okay.
Guitar in the early 90s. Although I think they were reviewed quite well in Making Music magazine. Yeah, sort of rite of passage, a Marlin guitar, but they did the V with the longer upper point.
That's what it needs. It needs longer points.
Yeah, but didn't Jackson do one of those? I don't know. We're on dangerous ground here. Good.
Cool.
Right.
There we go.
Everyone, thank you very much for being with us. We hope you have a jolly day, week, hour, moment.
Yeah.
Preferably, we hope you have a jolly moment. And
Have a great holiday.
Your moment is good. Thanks, Dan. Johnny T says, are you going to Corfu, Mick? I am indeed. My mother-in-law lives there, so we are very lucky in that we get to go there.
Awesome.
Be very nice. I'll be down Cavos drinking WKD Blue with all the kids. Seeing how many times I can get admitted to A&E. Because, we love that. I'm coming so middle-aged so fast. I was moaning about council tax at the weekend. Because they're charging us more, but they're going to collect our bins less.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I was like, thanks. Play us out, Dan. Thanks for being with us, everyone. Friday will be all about boosts, gainy amps, and GRM.
GRM. Ooh.
Play something to my polyrhythms.
So the polyrhythms, okay.
This is a polyrhythm.
Right.
It's Dan Jean Dimitri. go.